Were you chilled last night with the possession of Elizabeth Knapp, who looked up something on her today, who dreamed about it? You did? I had a feeling a lot of people would. You still have chills. Very nice. Oh, really, Miranda? Amethyst. Love it. Purple is just so beautiful. I used to be very upset because my birthday is in July, and so my school is bleeding, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Oh, I think Oakland is beautiful. Hey, Eric Jones. Is there anyone in the audience who is from a different country? Or we all have US networks? If you're from another country, let me know. And from what I'm understanding, we had over 400,000 likes last night. So, thank you so much. How are you dealing with the hot weather? sharing this with friends, family, co-workers, neighbors? Do you have 5 friends? 10? Let them know. Hey, do you like scary stories? Do I have the live for you? Someone said once, you know Halloween is only one day a year. And I said, in my smart, elegant way, no, Halloween is 365 days a year in my book. What about you? Thank you for achieving the first live goal. Thank you so much. I will now set the next one. That was quick. Thank you. Eric Jones. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Peggy, how are you? Eric has got the ball rolling tonight. Thank you. Thank you for sharing the live. That is what is going to get us out. And we are growing. We have a goal. We want to be the #1 worldwide scary story live. You want to be with us? Eric, you are amazing. Thank you so, so much. The Queen paused. Tonight I am wearing purple. Let me show again. We've got 2 minutes. Purple velvet. Tonight is purple. She's a lovely gal. Very royal. And of course, a queen has to have her train. She's pretty. She's a pretty one. And it's all the way to the floor. You just can't tell it. So far, so good on YouTube. Thank you, little cat. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Melinda. All right, everyone. Hey, Martha. How are you, darling? Hello, Alicia, Indiana girl. Ooh. Did you happen to see the content today? Do you know what the true crime is? I just want you all to know. Let me bring it down. I just want you all to know that you are seriously the best community ever. Whether you're chatting, sharing, or showing love in any way, it means everything to me. And thank you. I know, the other night I was trying to tap the screen with all of my fingers, and I'm like, you know what? That is not an easy task. Thank you, Kingfisher. here we are, once again in the night room. I am the Night Queen, and you are my night dwellers. And if this is your first time here, I tell them all. Ghost stories, true crime, serial unalivers, Appalachian horror, folklore, cryptids, aliens, all of it. I spare nothing. I tell it all. So if you like scary stories, hit that follow button and the notification bell and never miss another Twisted Tales Live. And welcome. Scarlett, thank you for sharing with more than 5 friends. Thank you, thank you. Ray-Bab, I'm an alien. Oh goodness. Hello James, it's good to see you again. Angel Vibes, thank you for sharing the live. Call Jesus Kid, hello my dear. With that being said, we have a entry into story time. Do it with me at home. I know you are, kiddo. Lower your lights. Lock your doors. Pull your curtains nice and tight. Light a candle for ambiance. Wrap yourself in your warmest blanket to avoid the chills that are about to enter your room. As I present the true crime case of Valerie Tindall. Chilling. And let me know in the comments. I'm ready, Brent. The first thing that I want to do is show you some pictures to set the scene. Tonight's victim, Valerie Tindall, 17 years old, taken mercilessly. She was not even beginning to live yet. This takes place in Indiana. Just a baby. You're right. Have you heard this story? Let us know in the comments. Oh, I hope it doesn't mess it up too bad for you. That is so not fun. I will show more pictures as we go throughout the evening. The way this works is I will read the first 5 chapters. We will take an intermission, a short greeting where I come in and look at the comments and see who's in there. And then I will return and read the last 5 chapters. So 10 chapters, just so you're prepared. I have titled this one, The Predator Next Door. This is the complete, true story of Valerie Leona Tindall. Welcome, night dwellers, to the darkest corners of reality, where trust transforms into betrayal, where safety becomes a deadly illusion, and where evil doesn't lurk in distant shadows. No, it lives 100 yards away from your back door. I am your Night Queen, and tonight we descend into the night realm to witness a tale so chilling, so saturated with human depravity, that it will forever change how you view the word neighbor. This is not merely a story of murder. This is a chronicle of predatory manipulation, calculated deception, and a family's unimaginable nightmare that unfolded in plain sight. Tonight, we explore the complete, unvarnished truth of 17-year-old Valerie Leona Tindall, a bright soul whose dreams of healing animals were extinguished by the very person her family trusted most. A girl whose bright neon orange nail polish would become the key to identifying her remains. A young woman whose body lay buried mere steps from her childhood bedroom, while her unaliver consoled her grieving parents. Night dwellers, prepare yourselves for a journey into the abyss of human evil, where a landscaper's shovel became a grave digger's tool, and where a leather belt became both murder weapon and trophy. The darkness awaits. Let us begin. Chapter 1. Escaping into a nightmare. Arlington, Indiana. Population 287 souls. A speck of rural tranquility in Rush County, 40 miles southeast of Indianapolis. In 2023, this seemed like the perfect sanctuary for a family desperate to escape urban violence and childhood trauma. Sheena Sandifer, Valerie's mother, had made the agonizing decision to uproot her family from Indianapolis after her daughter Valerie suffered some kind of trauma in the city. They do not elaborate on that. The details remain private, sacred to a mother's protective instincts. But the impact was clear. They needed to flee to somewhere safer, quieter, where evil couldn't find them. First person, Sheena, Valerie's mother. We moved away from Indy to get away from the violence after what Valerie encountered. I just knew that it was the right thing to do. And I thought that moving to the country was safe. Sheena would later say, tears streaming down her face as she realized the cruel irony of those words. Let me tell you a little bit about Valerie. Valerie Leona Tindall was born August 29th, 2005 in Indianapolis. She was a Leo, like me, with a heart as bright as her zodiac sign suggested. At 17, she was a junior at Rushville Consolidated High School, scheduled to graduate in 2024. She was 5 feet 6 inches tall, 162 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes that sparkled with dreams and determination. Valerie was so sweet and smart and funny. Her parents, Jack Tindall and Sheena Sandifer, would tell reporters when she went missing. She had an infectious smile and a great sense of humor. She loved creating TikTok videos with her 2 sisters. They would laugh into the early morning hours. She adored spending time with her beloved Boston Terrier named Lacey, and was passionate about video games and singing. But above all, Valerie loved animals with a fierce protective devotion. She made it known to everyone, I want to be a veterinarian. Well, you know that that's going to take some work. I don't mind working. She wanted to heal the voiceless, to mend the broken, to make the world better for creatures who couldn't speak for themselves. To fund these dreams, Valerie worked tirelessly. First person, her mother. I don't know where she got it. She certainly didn't get it from me. I have a lazy streak, but I don't know, maybe she got it from her dad. She didn't have a lazy bone in her body. She had worked at McDonald's during high school, Domino's, but eventually we found an opportunity that was given to her, and she enjoyed it. It was doing lawn care. I told her that it wasn't really a job for a young girl. She said, Mom, the work is honest and paid well, and I'm saving for college. I want to be a veterinarian. And she was also very outdoorsy, so that job allowed her to be outdoors in the Indiana sunshine. And that's when she met him. Patrick Allen Scott. At 59 years old, Scott owned a landscaping business and lived at 2300 North Oak Street, directly behind the Tindall family property. To all appearances, he was the perfect neighbor. a respected small business owner in a community where everyone knew everyone. Remember, there was only just a little over 200 people in this town. For over 2 years, Valerie worked for Scott, mowing lawns and maintaining properties, but their relationship was far from ordinary. As investigators would later discover, Scott provided Valerie with money, food, gas, and he even took her on trips. Her mother, Sheena, would eventually describe Scott's behavior toward Valerie. And may I remind you that Patrick is 59 years old. She would eventually describe Scott's behavior toward Valerie as resembling that of a jealous boyfriend rather than an employer. Scott tracked Valerie's phone. He was inappropriately involved in her personal life. Scott's granddaughter was Valerie's friend, and the families socialized together, attended gatherings and going places as one extended family unit. To the Tindalls, Patrick Scott wasn't just Valerie's boss. No, he was practically family. But night dwellers, predators don't announce themselves with fangs and claws. They smile. They help carry groceries. They attend your family's barbecues. They wear the mask of trustworthiness while plotting in the darkness of their twisted minds. And in June 2023, Patrick Scott's mask was about to slip off forever. Chapter 2, The Morning of Deception. Here's a thought-provoking question for you. How many last normal moments do we live without knowing their endings? June the 7th, 2023. Dawn bright and warm in Arlington, Indiana. For 17-year-old Valerie Tindall, it began like any other summer day. She woke in her bedroom, 100 yards from where her body would eventually be discovered, and prepared for what she believed would be just another day of work. That morning, Valerie had been to Walmart and she found her favorite Opie fingernail polish. It was a bright neon orange. It was her favorite color. It was bright and cheerful and optimistic, like her spirit. She took a selfie and posted it to social media, her radiant smile lighting up the screen, those orange nails visible in the frame. It would be her final post. $9. A digital goodbye, frozen in pixels and light. At 11:23 a.m., Valerie sent a text message to Patrick Scott. I'll be there soon. These would be among the last words she would ever communicate to anyone. Her phone would go silent at 12:52 p.m., the exact moment that her life ended. Valerie told her parents she was going to work for Patrick, just as she had hundreds of times before. Her mother remembers vividly the bright orange fingernail polish. She even joked and said, "Do you think that's just not bright enough? Could you find one perhaps that is brighter?" They were constantly teasing each other. There was no fear in her voice, no hesitation, no premonition of doom. Why would there be? I mean, after all, Patrick Scott was their trusted neighbor, their friend, practically family. But Scott had different plans for Valerie that day. Plans that had been festering in his predatory mind, growing more twisted with each passing day of their inappropriate relationship. They didn't meet at either of their homes. Instead, the text that she received from Scott said, "Meet me near the Shelbyville High School at 12 o'clock. I'm taking you out to lunch." To any casual observer, it might have looked innocent. Personally, to me, a 17-year-old with a 59-year-old man, there's nothing innocent about it. It's sick. It's twisted. It's wrong. But I suppose to some, it was just a landscaper picking up his young employee for another day of yard work. But Scott's mind was already consumed with dark fantasies. In his twisted imagination, he had convinced himself that 17-year-old Valerie was trying to seduce him, that she was planning to blackmail him into buying her a car. These were the desperate lies of a predator preparing to justify the unjustifiable. They drove back to his house together, the same house that backed up to Valerie's family's property. 100 yards, close enough that if she had screamed, if she had realized what she was going into, her parents might have heard her. 100 yards is not that far. Close enough that they could see Scott's property from their kitchen window. But in to Patrick's house just as she had many times before. She had no idea she needed to scream. She trusted Patrick Scott. She had worked for him for over 2 years. Their families socialized together. His granddaughter was her best friend. As they pulled into Scott's driveway at 2300 North Oak Street, Valerie had no idea. No idea that she would never leave that property alive. Chapter 3, The Horror in the House. Here's another question. What lies do monsters tell themselves in their final moments of humanity before they transform into the dark, evil being that they truly are? They walked in the house. Patrick turned to Valerie. Are you thirsty? I would like to think that Valerie responded with, "No, I'm good." But in that suffocating atmosphere of Patrick Scott's home, with Valerie trapped and alone, the mask of the helpful, friendly neighbor finally fell away to reveal the predator beneath. According to Scott's later confession to police, given with the same emotional detachment one might use to describing swatting a fly, he brought Valerie into his house under the pretense of work. But his intentions were already formed, his plan already in motion. I'm going to show you a picture of Patrick, and it just makes me sick to my stomach to see this. 59 years old, a 17-year-old girl. He had no business with a 17-year-old girl. Absolutely none. No soul. Let me see. There really were not a whole lot of pictures, but here's another one. Look at that guy's eyes. 1759, sick. This one infuriates me. So Patrick tells Valerie to come into the kitchen while he is looking for something. And then he disappears. She hears him calling out to her from his bedroom. Hey, can you help me pick this up? This is a little heavy. She goes over. So Scott claimed to investigators that Valerie was coming on to him, that she was trying to seduce him, that she was attempting to blackmail him into buying her a car, a new car. This was his pathetic, desperate attempt to justify what came next. The lies of a predator trying to make his victim responsible for his own monstrous actions. Night dwellers, let us be absolutely clear about what really happened in that house. A 59-year-old man in a position of power and trust over a baby, 17 years old, created a narrative in his diseased, sick, twisted mind to justify what he was about to do next. His planned assault on the 17-year-old Valerie Tindall. Valerie wasn't seducing anyone. Valerie wasn't blackmailing anyone. Valerie was a child who trusted the wrong person. Scott later told the police, I wasn't going to have it. I'm not going to have a 17-year-old girl threaten me. As if he were the victim in this scenario. That's what he tried to portray. According to his confession, when she came in, she tried to come on to him. She told him that she loved him and that she knew that he loved her too. And so he should buy her a car, a new car. So according to Scott, there was a pushing and shoving thing. When she tried to reach out and grab onto him desperately, he pushed her away. We're not having this, he said. In his bedroom, Scott claimed that Valerie began taking off her clothes and that he had to fight her off. Wow. Then Patrick Scott reached for his leather belt. Not to restrain her, not to threaten her, to murder her. Viewers' discretion is advised. His words. I put it around her neck, and I held on to it until she quit. Scott confessed to Detective Randy Meek, describing the final moments of Valerie Tindall's life with the emotional resonance of someone describing their morning cup of coffee. With the emotional resonance of someone describing their morning coffee. When investigators asked Scott if he had intended to unalive Valerie, he replied with chilling indifference, "No, that just kind of happened. You know how sometimes you're just not planning on it, but it happens." When they asked him if it bothered him that he had unaligned her, Scott's response revealed the true depth of his sociopath. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I wasn't too crazy about it. In those final moments, a 17-year-old Valerie Tindall fought for her life. Did she realize that the man that she had trusted was strangling her with his belt? Did she think of her parents just 100 yards away? Did she think of her dreams of becoming a veterinarian? Did she think of her beloved dog, Lacey? Of the TikTok videos she would never make with her sisters? We will never know. What we do know is that at 12:52 p.m. on June the 7th, 2023, Valerie's phone went silent forever. But for Patrick Scott, the work was just beginning. Because now he had a problem. The lifeless body of a 17-year-old girl in his bedroom. And here's the thing. There would be a community that would soon be looking for Valerie Tindall. Let me take a sip of water. What are you thinking of this case so far? There are some absolutely despicable monsters in this world. One of my mottos that I'm a huge crime junkie fan, and one of those things that I live by is be weird, be rude, stay alive. Chapter 4. The Architect of Concealment. Here's another thought-provoking question. How does a human being transform so completely into a monster? After strangling Valerie Tindall with his belt, the same belt he would continue to wear as a trophy for the next 5 months. Patrick Scott faced the practical problem that separates impulsive killers from calculating ones. What to do with the body? Scott's solution revealed the depth of his depravity and the calculating nature of his evil. This wasn't a crime of passion that he immediately regretted. This was a crime he was prepared to cover up with meticulous, cold-blooded planning. First, Scott dragged Valerie's lifeless body into a small, secured office in his residence, where he left her overnight like a discarded piece of furniture. Can you imagine that? Night dwellers. While Valerie's parents began to worry about their daughter's absence, it was growing dark outside. While they called her phone over and over and over again, their daughter's body lay unalive in Patrick Scott's office, just 100 yards from their back door. The next morning, June the 8th, 2023, what did Patrick Scott do? Well, he made a trip to Home Depot in Greenfield, Indiana. Security cameras captured him purchasing 4 pieces of lumber and oriented strand boards. The receipt would later become evidence. The timestamp, a digital confession of premeditation. Scott wasn't buying these materials for a landscaping project. No. He was constructing a coffin. Scott returned home and spent the day building what he would later describe to the police as a box. But night dwellers, this was no ordinary container. This was a handmade tomb, constructed with the same hands that had just committed murder. According to Scott's confession, he wrapped Valerie's body in black plastic, sealing her away from the world that was beginning to frantically search for her. He secured the plastic with duct tape, then placed her in his wooden creation and screwed it shut, trapping 17 years of dreams and possibilities in a homemade casket. But where do you hide a body when entire community is about to mobilize in search of a missing teenager. When her face will soon be on every social media feed. When silver alerts will be broadcast across 4 states. Scott's answer revealed both his cunning and his arrogance. You bury it on your own property, of course. Using a wheelbarrow, Scott transported Valerie's makeshift coffin to another property he owned. And there, under the cover of darkness, or perhaps in broad daylight, we don't know, the audacity of evil knows no bounds. He dug a grave and buried 17-year-old Valerie Tindall. The burial site was located just feet from her family's property line, close enough that her mother could have seen the disturbed earth from her kitchen window. That's how close it was. Close enough that her father could have walked there in 90 seconds. But Scott's work wasn't finished, because the real performance was about to begin. He had to become the concerned neighbor, the innocent friend caught up in a family's tragedy. He had to help search for the very girl he had just buried in his own backyard. And most chilling of all, he had to console her parents. Chapter 5, The Performance of Evil. Another question. How perfectly can evil mimic compassion? On June the 8th, 2023, less than 24 hours after murdering Valerie Tindall, Patrick Scott and his wife, Linda, appeared at the Tindalls' front door. Linda had made a casserole. Patrick had his hand on his wife's back. They had come to, they said, offer their support and comfort during this difficult time. Picture this scene, night dwellers. Patrick Scott walking into their house. His wife holding a casserole, Patrick's hand on the small of her back, still wearing the belt that he had used to unalive Valerie. Sitting in the Tindall family living room on their couch. First person, Sheena. When I look back, he hugged me. He shook my husband's hand. And he was sitting on the couch. I asked them if they would like a piece of the casserole and thanked them for bringing it over. Our kitchen table and counters were packed with food. And I remember him looking at me and saying, you know what? I can never pass up a piece of my wife's broccoli casserole. He looked us in the eyes. And he was offering his condolences for Valerie being gone. They were definitely picking our brains. I can look back at that now. Patrick said that Valerie was 17 and wild. And as far as he knew, she had been seeing a boy. And that she ran away with him. Scott played his role perfectly. He assured the frantic parents, Valerie is just sowing her oats. She will be back here before you know it. Heck, I bet she's on her way back home now. He said that she had probably just run away with that boy. She's going to return soon. Promise y'all. She's got a strong personality, but she's got a good head on her shoulders. She wouldn't do that to her mom and dad. Come on now. Want a cup of coffee? He offered to help with the search efforts, suggesting places that they might look, and provided the kind of comfort that only a trusted friend could give. But night dwellers, this wasn't comfort. This was psychological torture of the most sadistic kind. Scott knew exactly where Valerie was. He knew when he was sitting there on the couch that she was buried in a makeshift coffin in his backyard. He had put her there himself, while her parents clung to hope, while they organized search parties and distributed flowers, while they prayed for her safe return. He attended the candlelight vigil at her church. And while the community played over in their minds where she could possibly be, and were praying for her safe return, their daughters on a lifer were sitting at their kitchen table, drinking their coffee and eating casserole. On June the 10th, 3 days after Valerie disappeared, Indiana State Police issued a silver alert that would remain active for 174 agonizing days. The description was heartbreakingly precise. Valerie Tindall, 17 years old, 5 feet, 6 inches tall, 162 pounds, white female with brown hair and hazel eyes, last seen wearing a light blue shirt, jean shorts, and sandals. Driving a green 2000 Honda Accord with Indiana license plate ZYK833. The entire community rallied around the Tindall family. Volunteers organized search parties, social media campaigns spread her photo across the internet, and local businesses donated resources to the effort. And through it all, there he was, Patrick Scott, playing the role of concerned neighbor to perfection. Every unaliver makes a mistake. Scott's performance wasn't flawless. In fact, his stories kept changing, shifting, and contradicting themselves as investigators pressed for details. Can you tell us where you were the day that Valerie Tindall went missing, Mr. Scott? I didn't see Valerie at all. She hasn't worked for me since June the 7th, I believe. I mean, I'd have to check my books, but I'm pretty sure about that. Then when he was confronted with the evidence, he changed his story. Yeah, I saw her, but I was watching her get into another man's car and she drove away. She was pretty serious about this guy. The lies deepened. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. The lies deepened when police discovered Valerie's Honda Accord at an apartment complex where Scott did landscaping work. Confronted with this evidence, Scott spun yet another tale. He had moved Valerie's car at her request to a spot where it wouldn't be noticed. He said that when he took her out to lunch, she told him about the new boy. She was 17. She knew that it would break her mother and father's heart. Could he hide the car for a while until she could get up the nerve to tell them about him? But investigators weren't buying his story. Why? Well, traffic camera footage, GPS data, and phone records contradicted Mr. Patrick Scott's lies at every turn. On June the 29th, Scott was arrested on charges of providing false information to police and hindering the investigation. Meanwhile, night dwellers, neighbors began reporting strange behavior. They hadn't thought about it at the time, but, well, now that he was in jail, they started to remember things. People saw Patrick Scott tearing down an and burning his garage at 2 a.m. shortly after Valerie vanished. A strange behavior for a man supposedly concerned about his missing employee. What those neighbors didn't know was that Scott was destroying evidence. The garage he burned would later prove significant when investigators realized that Valerie's makeshift coffin was buried beneath the rubble of that midnight fire. For 5 months, Patrick Scott maintained his charade. 5 months of attending search meetings, distributing flyers at Walmart, Target, and consoling Valerie's family. 5 months. 5 months of wearing his victim's method of unaliving around his waist like a trophy. But truth has a way of clawing to the surface. Night dwellers, remember that. And the darkness Patrick Scott had buried in his backyard. It was about to see the light. We will now take an intermission. Let's do 10 minutes, and then I will come back and read the remaining 5 chapters of the Valerie Tindall case. This is chilling. That is exactly right. 5 months of deception. This is her parents. It's a heartbreaking photo. They were just devastated, as you can imagine. And I actually know that feeling from when my sister was unalived. I know it well. You're so angry. Hello, Twin Souls Paranormal. Right, exactly, Jessica. It is a feeling unlike anything. You're angry, and then you're sad, and then you want vindication. It was just a whole mix of emotions. Hello, Judy Ballard. How are you? And welcome. If you are brand new here, my name is Bryn Morgan. I'm a horror author, but I am also a teller of every kind of scary story you can imagine. And if you like that, consider hitting that follow button and the notification bell and never missing another Twisted Tales Live. Tuesday night is True Crime Night, and it's one of the most popular nights here. Hey Gracie, how are you, darling? Oh, I'm so good. So happy to hear that, Judy Ballard. So happy to hear that. Let me move over to YouTube land for a moment. Let me turn down the volume. Hello over there, Kimmy. Truth Positive. Always good to see you over there. What are y'all thinking of this case? What are you thinking of this case? Hey, Spider Witch. Hello, Christina K. You know, Christina, I ask myself that every day. I have been researching so many true crime cases for the show, and the depravity, I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how you sink to that place, that dark, empty void. I don't know how. I can understand it even if it was self-defense, that would be hard on me. I know it would. But to just take someone's life like it's nothing. Like Patrick Scott told the police, it wasn't anything that I really planned. It bothered me a little bit. A little bit? A 17-year-old girl, it bothered you a little bit. You just, and you know, something that I heard on another case that I'm working on, but this father was talking about how his daughter was unalived. And he's like, what these people don't realize when they do this stuff, they not only unalive the victim, they unalive children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. The way he said it was so sad. He's like, they don't understand that they are killing off generations. And I thought about that, and I was just, I don't think they don't think about that. They don't comprehend that. They're just evil. They're just evil, and I have no respect for them at all. I'm telling you, Christina, it's best that you do. I mean, it's not. It most definitely is not. Hey, Marine's daughter. Kiddo, the name of this case is Valerie Tindall. I don't believe that she did. I think he kept it from everyone. I don't know how, but I mean, as far as I know. Oh, I hope you sleep tonight too, until I come to haunt your dreams. That was creepy. That was very creepy. So glad that you like them. Now, tomorrow night is going to be Paranormal Wednesday. We didn't do it last week because there was a big thing, but it's going to be Paranormal Wednesday. Viewers share their paranormal, ghostly, haunting experiences. So excited to hear it. And while we are waiting for people to come into the box, I will be sharing a paranormal ghost story as well while you're coming in. So don't miss it. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Hey, Wolfman. Hey, Magic Moon. How are you, darling? It's just the saddest thing. All these cases. All these cases. It is just the most chilling. I'm working on one now that I had to just close it down and just take a step back, because I was just like, this is too much. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Casey Morrow. Oh my goodness. 11 and 12 years old. So sorry. Oh my goodness. You like my ambiance? Well, I am so glad to hear that, Orlando. Christina, I was born in Wales. I am Welsh. I've lived in the States for, wow, but I spent the summers in Wales with my grandparents, so I've been able to keep just a little bit of the accent. Yes. So glad that you like it. Oh my goodness. Wolfman, that's terrible. That is so terrible. I mean, they do not put any thought into it. They just do not think. I mean, I've shared this with my night dwellers before, but my sister was murdered. She was picked for the color of her hair. It was for a gang initiation. The unaliver was told, go out, find a woman, blonde hair, and enter, and send us the proof. I said, that's what I did. It is Kingfisher. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. Ruby, I didn't know that. Yeah. So, thank you for the FYP, Twin Souls Paranormal. Yeah. Thank you, Nikki. I don't know, but if you're a true crime buff like I am, you hear these stories and it's just insane. They don't realize. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they do realize that they're not just taking this sister or brother or mother or father, or maybe they don't realize, or friend. Maybe they do realize it, but they don't realize how far beyond that what the consequences of what they did will end up being. When I heard that father, and he said, he not only took her, he took my grandkids. He took my great-grandkids. I had never put it together like that. It's very deep. was ordering purple crowns. I love it. Purple crowns. This one was a gift from Melanie, and I absolutely love it. Any time that I wear purple, this goes with it. It is. It is very hard to comprehend. Thank you, Miranda. Yeah, this one's lovely. This one is just so gorgeous. All right. Okay, I'm going to disappear for about 2 minutes and I'll be back. Coming in here. You think you're coming in here, but you're not. Hey, Ray. Zena Becker, thank you for sharing the live. If you have just came in tonight and became a night dweller, let us know. Let us know where you're from. This is a safe, warm, loving, welcome community. There is no judgment here. We want you to come in for 2 hours-ish and just sit back and interact with your family, interact with me, and interact with the story, and just have a good time. Hello. So Christina is from NYC in the house. Welcome. All right, I'm gonna change up music for the second half. want to give a huge shout out to everyone supporting the stream live today. I tell you, you're making it so much more fun than me having to talk to myself. Someone asked me, they said, if you only had one viewer, would you do it? I have did it. I remember the first night that I came on TikTok and was doing my first live story. I had one, and then I was like, okay. And then the second night I had 5, and then it just gradually grew from there. So just want to give a huge shout out. However you are supporting, whether it is tapping that screen till the tips of your fingers are red, or giving a twisted trinket, or perhaps going into the Bewitched Boutique and doing as the moon calls you there, whatever it is, sharing the live, you're contributing, and I appreciate it all so much. You remember those days, Spitfire? There is a lot of Texas girls in there. Tara, you are a neighbor to me. Hey, Nana Sherry. So anybody not Texas, I know, right? I'm gonna have to visit Texas. Legend of the 80s is in Georgia. You're a neighbor. If you are just coming in for the second half of Twisted Tales Live, I am the Night Queen. This is the Night Realm, and you are my night dwellers. Tonight we have delved into a dark part of the Night Realm. True crime, unalivers. Tonight's case is the case of Valerie Tindall. We're now going to continue the next 5 chapters, but first, let's get back into the mood, shall we? Lower your lights. Light a candle for ambiance. Or maybe you're already laying in bed and the lights are all off. You're good. Lock your doors. I think true crime is possibly one of the creepiest, and you know why? Because it's real. Yeah. Pull your curtains nice and tight, and wrap yourself in your warmest blanket to avoid the chills that are about to enter your space. And let's begin. Hey, AJ Cav. I love true crime too. Chapter 6, The Hounds of Justice. Question. Can the dead speak through the noses of the living? Let's find out, shall we? By autumn 2023, the Rush County Sheriff's Department, led by Sheriff Alan Rice, had executed over 50 search warrants in their relentless pursuit of truth. This wasn't just a missing person case anymore. This was a methodical dismantling of Patrick Scott's web of lies. Detectives Randy Meek and Sean Smallwood worked tirelessly, building a case piece by piece. Phone records showed that Valerie's last communication had been with Scott. Bank records revealed his suspicious Home Depot purchase on June the 8th. Security footage created a timeline that contradicted every story Scott had told them. But the breakthrough came on October the 11th, 2023, when investigators made a decision. First person, a detective. You know how they say something stinks, something's stinking, something's not smelling good. Any time that I interrogated Patrick Scott, something stank. So I talked with our sheriff and I told him, what if we were to take some cadaver dogs to Scott's property? What if we were to do that? I mean, because neighbors had came forward and told us that he had burned down his garage. And when you put two and two together, that was the day Valerie Tindall went missing. So they did. Investigators brought cadaver dogs to Scott's property. These are truly remarkable animals. They really are. Trained to detect the scent of human decomposition. They began alerting immediately. They indicated the presence of human remains near a pond on Scott's property. Their behavior became increasingly agitated as they caught the unmistakable scent. What was that, Brett? The unmistakable scent of death. Divers searched the murky pond waters. Sonar equipment swept the bottom, but nothing was found in the water itself. However, the dog handlers explained something crucial to investigators. Water holds scent, and wind can carry the odor of decomposition across considerable distances. I thought this was interesting. The dogs weren't wrong. They were following a scent trail that led away from the pond, uphill toward the main property. A topographical study confirmed the handler's theory. Water runoff from higher ground could easily carry scent toward the pond. The cadaver dogs had detected death. That was absolutely certain. But they were pointing investigators in the direction of its source. On October the 12th, aerial surveillance of Scott's property revealed multiple areas of obvious ground disturbances. The earth itself was telling investigators where to look. Search warrants were prepared, federal resources were mobilized. By November the 27th, the law enforcement community had marshaled an unprecedented response to find Valerie Tindall. On November the 28th, 2023, nearly 6 months after Valerie had disappeared, more than 40 federal agents and local law enforcement officers descended upon Patrick Scott's property like an army of justice. I would have loved to have seen his face as he's looking out his front door, drinking his morning cup of Java, and sees these cars, vans, approaching. What in the world? They brought excavation equipment, crime scene specialist, and an unshakable determination to bring Valerie Tindall home. What they found beneath the pile of debris, the same debris from Scott's mysteriously burned garage, would haunt them forever. Chapter 7, The Discovery of Horror. Here's a question. These are deep questions tonight. What does evil look like when it's finally exposed? Under the cold, pewter November sky, with the weight of 174 days of searching pressing down upon them, investigators begin their methodical excavation of Patrick Scott's property. They worked through piles of debris, examined every disturbance in the earth, following the scent trail that cadaver dogs had detected weeks earlier. And then they found it, hidden beneath the rubble of Scott's mysteriously burned garage, buried in a shallow grave like discarded trash, lay 2 homemade wooden boxes constructed from 2x4 lumber and oriented strand boards, the exact materials Scott had purchased at his Home Depot on June the 8th. Inside the first box, wrapped in black plastic and sealed with duct tape,